You probably saw the picture on the thumbnail, right? Now, you see the title. It says, yes. What does it say? I'm sorry, this is live. It says, yes, you have the right to blame your parents. But, so that picture I took, that was my best butt face. Like, butt face. Like, but B-U-T. Like, you have the, yes, you have the right to blame your parents. But, yeah, I'm so goofy. Okay, so I'm gonna do this live, right? And this is something I've been wanting to talk about, but I want to, you know, tell you why I made that statement and why I added the but to it. Okay, like I said, this is a live. If you come in now, I don't know, just come on in the room, okay? Come on in the room. I usually try to wait for people to get in, but I'm not that popular yet, so nobody is waiting for my lives to drop like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was not supposed to start off this live like that, but you know what? I never know how my life is going to go sometimes from day to day. You know, what I might say, um, how goofy I might be. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I just hope that you enjoy this talk. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So, first part, yes, you have the right to blame your parents. Why? Because as the scripture says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it, right? Now, whose job is it to train you up? The person who's raising you, okay? Now, unless you were taken from your parents and you were adopted or you have like guardianship from someone else, it's your parents who's they're supposed, even the adoptive parents are supposed to be training you up. So the blood will be on their hands. They will have to answer for how they trained you up. But here's the thing, the scripture says to train up a child in the way that he should go. So it's your parents' job to train you up, right? It's your parents' job to train you up. So yes, you have the right to say, you know what? You're the reason. Now, I'm not saying to go to your parents and say, you're the reason why my life is so screwed up. Which some kids do. Because there's a lot of anger and hurt and pain and shame and guilt and unforgiveness there. But here's the thing, you could go to your parents and say that you're the reason my life is so screwed up. But this is how I did it, and this is how I encourage people to do it. The reason you have the right to blame your parents is because that opens a door for you to acknowledge why you are a certain way. Okay? It opens the door for you to sit back and say, man, I have so many failed relationships because I can't trust anyone because the person who was in the position to train me up and raise me right didn't do a good job at that. I was shown that I can't trust people because I couldn't trust the person that I was supposed to trust the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you have the right to blame your parents. You do. Because it's their job to train you up. It's their job to make you into the person, to groom you into the person that you should be, right? And here's why I put the but there. Here's why I put the but. Okay? It's because you're an adult now. What has blaming your parent done for you? What has constantly blaming your parent for everything that happens in your life done for you? It's only hindered who you are truly meant to be. It's only kept you in the same place. It's only kept you from trusting people. You know what I'm saying? And some people might say, well, you know what? I'm successful. I make plenty of money. I have a nice car, a nice house. But guess what? You still have bitterness and unforgiveness and distrust in your heart because of what your parents did to you. So all of that nice car and all that money, it's done nothing for you. You still have a lot of shallow relationships. You see what I'm saying? So yes, you have the right to blame your parents. Okay? Don't let someone hold you back from greatness. Oh, darling, you'll find a great guy one day. What? What are we talking about? Brandon May, what are we talking about? I have a great guy. I have a great husband. No, I was giving an example. Okay. But I was giving an example of, yes, you have the right to blame your parent, because when you blame a parent, and like I said, it's not for you to go to them and say, you're the reason why my life is so screwed up. It's not for you to just go to them and blatantly say that, which some people do. But it's for you to be able to sit back and take an account of your life. This is what happened to me one time when I moved. I'm from Atlanta. I moved to Arkansas, right? That's where the Lord had to get me by myself. I realized that in order for me to grow and to see myself, okay? But one thing that came to me, my oldest son, I remember he had been to four different elementary schools, okay? Elementary only goes to grade 5. And I didn't notice it until I had a moment to sit back and get by myself. And I thought to myself, why did that happen? I had been to 5 different elementary schools in my young life. Again, elementary only goes to 5th grade. I had been to 5 different elementary schools in my life. Why? Because my mom did it. And now here's that generational pattern that's happening in my own life. My mom did it. She didn't have good stability, right? Moving around a lot and stuff like that. Bad relationships, failing, and all this and that. So we had to pick up and move a lot. You know what I mean? We moved around a lot. That's the same thing I had done. I would get into a relationship, foolish decisions I made, a lot of them, okay? But I would get in these relationships. I wasn't stable. I would move around a lot. Things happen, whatever. And every time you move, you lose things, right? You lose things. You guys, I used to have like 2 boxes of DVDs, right? I was a movie person. I still am. But I'm just saying, that's a whole nother story. I lost that. Anyway, moving around a lot though. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. Blaming your parents into your adulthood is doing nothing for you but hindering you. It's doing nothing but holding you back. And here's the thing. You're waiting for an apology from that parent, right? A lot of us want our parents to at least acknowledge what you did to me. At least acknowledge how you didn't raise me, or how you hurt me, or the hurtful things you said, whatever the case may be, how you didn't protect me, whatever the case may be. And guess what, guys? Guess what? You're going to have to be okay with maybe never getting an apology or acknowledgement from that parent. You're going to have to be okay with that. You're going to have to be okay with that, okay? A lot of the times when it comes to parents, especially people in general, but because we're talking about parents, a lot of the times pride keeps them from apologizing. Pride keeps people from apologizing, okay? You would think, I'm sorry, is a very simple, it's not hard to say. No, it's not. But it is hard to say when you really don't want to say it and you really don't believe you did anything wrong, and there's a lot of pride there, okay? And then you have people who will say, well, I'm sorry. And you can already tell, oh, you didn't mean that. You didn't mean that. So you're going to have to be okay with possibly never getting an apology from that parent who you so desperately want to acknowledge that you hurt me. You did this. You're the reason my life is like this. You're going to have to be okay with that, guys. Okay? And then, like I said, pride is what keeps people from apologizing. But sometimes, let me tell you, because I'm a parent myself, sometimes the shame and the guilt of what happened to you as a child will keep the parent from acknowledging it. Okay? Because as parents, parents who love their children, sometimes parents just don't know how to love their children. And this is what you also have to think about too. This is why we go back into our lineage, okay? We ask questions and we find out what happened to you as a child. You ask that parent, what happened to you? You know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, the same way they treated you or the same things that happened to you usually happened to the parent. It usually happened to the parent. And a lot of times they don't want to revisit that. And a lot of the times the parent doesn't even understand the generational curse or the generational pattern, and that they should have been the one to break this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they don't understand that. So sometimes you, the person who can't let go, who wants to continue to blame that parent, sometimes you're just going to have to be the bigger person and say, you know what? Blaming them, not forgiving them, okay? Blaming them and not forgiving them is hindering me. It's keeping me from living a life full of purpose. It's keeping me from, you know, these beautiful relationships, these people that have come into my lives and my life, and I have run them away because I'm too afraid to trust anyone because I've been hurt so many times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been lied to. You know, I have to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? That's what people will say a lot. I have to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? But, and see, it's made your heart hard. When a person's heart is hard, it is hard to break through, guys. It is hard to break through. And sadly, realizing that you couldn't trust the people who were entrusted to raise you, that is one of the main things that can cause your heart to be hard. And you, as you grow up, your heart only gets harder and harder, right? And it's hard to penetrate. It's hard to penetrate. Even if the Lord sends you somebody that was for you, right? Because of your insecurities, the trust, the distrust, because of all these things, you'll run them away. So you see, yes, you can blame your parents. Yes, you can. But what is it doing for you? What is it doing for you? Nothing but hindering you. You have to let go of that. You have to let go of that. You have to forgive. You have to forgive. I know that is like, you know what? I can't forgive them. But again, I want you to think about this because I've been in that position. I've been in that position where I've had resentment towards parents, you know what I'm saying? Towards people, but we're talking about parents, right? Now, here's the thing. Forgiveness is not I did an actual teaching on this. If you go back into my I might link it after. But forgiveness, it's more for you than it is for them. That's what I titled it. It's more for you than it is for them. Forgiveness is more for you than it is for them, because forgiveness sets you free. Okay, it sets you free, and then you're able to freely move about how you're supposed to be moving. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you can blame your parents, but this is what I say about blaming your parents. Again, not to go back and go get in their face and be like, you're the reason why my life is so screwed up. Okay, blaming your parents will unlock generational patterns in your life. It will unlock understanding. It's the key to understanding why I'm like this. You see what I'm saying? It's the key to understanding why am I like this? Why don't I trust anybody? Why am I so insecure? Why am I so shameful and full of guilt? Why do I move around so much? I told you that was my story too. I was so unstable, but it's because my mom was like that. As a child, I would see that. You see how you can learn things unconsciously? It's a psychology to it all, okay? You don't want to fail in your marriage. You don't want to fail in your relationships, whether it's friendships or, you know, professional. You don't want to fail, but because you have been unconsciously taught how to fail, this is what you know, okay? This is what you know. All right? Take an account of the generations before you and see what they went through. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. Go to your parents and ask, what happened to you as a child? Why were you like this? You know what I'm saying? Tell me about your mom. I guarantee you, you will start unlocking the understanding to seeing certain patterns in their lives, and then you'll see the same patterns in your life. And you'll understand. And then, this is the big part. That blame and anger that you have towards them, that unforgiveness, it will be changed to grace and mercy and understanding for them. Okay? That blame, that anger, that guilt, whatever, that anger that you have towards them, it will change to mercy and grace and understanding, because you went and you found out this is why they treated me like this, because they were treated like this. And when you get to that point of understanding, it's like, man, they had a harder life than I ever knew, or they had it harder than me. You know the saying, hurting people hurt people? You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. Excuse me, guys. I went to exercise and I'm just like, why was I scratching? Ain't nothing wrong with me, y'all. Okay, ain't nothing wrong. I was just itching. Anyway, but that's probably because I need to go get in the shower. But okay, TMI. But anyway, yes, I just finished exercising and I had to do this because if I don't, I won't. You see what I'm saying? If you came in at the tail end of this, guys, I pray that you go back and watch it. I pray that you find encouragement in it. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can blame your parents, but it's only hindering you. Okay? It's only hindering you. You have to get past that. However you see fit, you have to get past it. And forgiveness is a daily thing. Okay? Yes, you can choose today to forgive. You can choose today. You can choose today to say, you know what? I'm not going to blame them anymore for my own choices in life, because at the end of the day, you have to make choices. We all make choices. And you know what? Sometimes people like to blame their parents because they use that as a crutch. Okay? It has become such a crutch, an excuse crutch, where it's like, you know what? Well, I'm messed up because of them. Okay? I'm out here on the streets because of them, because this is what I saw them do and this is how they treated me. You know what I'm saying? Some people start to use that as a crutch. So you have to be careful that you don't just start using your past as an excuse for why you're not moving forward, okay? Because remember, it's you who's being hindered. It's you who's being hindered. And like I said before, you're going to have to get to the place where the apology that you so desperately want from that parent who did you wrong, or the acknowledgement for them to say, I'm sorry, I did you wrong. You're going to have to be okay with maybe never getting that. You're going to have to be okay with that, guys. You're just going to have to be okay with it, okay? I apologize to my children, and I encourage anybody who's a parent on here who has made foolish decisions, okay? Who have kids and they've made foolish decisions, okay? Because the children were and are affected, whether you recognize it or not. I encourage every parent to apologize to their children for the things that they put them through. Okay? Kids have emotions too. We discount kids a lot of the times, but they're little people too. They're not adults, they're little people too, though. You know what I'm saying? And they feel things, they hurt. As a matter of fact, they probably hurt more than you. They probably hurt more than you as an adult because they are little. And when kids come into the world, they're so innocent, but they're taught to be hard. They're taught to hate. They're taught these things. They're taught that I can't trust people because the person who was supposed to be protecting me did not. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine, sometimes my heart just goes out to children. I thank God nothing just terrible happened to my children, but the foolish decisions that I made, it could have killed them, but like I was saying, I apologized to them because I wanted them to know and hear that I was sorry for even putting them through foolish things when I was in all these foolish relationships. You know what I mean? And I know that set them free. Apologies set people free, but like I said, you're going to have to be okay with maybe never getting an apology from that parent that hurt you. Okay? But like I said, my heart goes out to children so much because I can't imagine a little person who is so innocent having to go through hurt and pain and can't do anything about it. The main person that they look to for protection is hurting them. It gets me. Okay? But guys, I just want you to be encouraged. Be encouraged, okay? Be encouraged. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay where you are. I'm about to go, but I'm going to leave you with this. I heard Myron Golden, he was talking about why people can't get past, why people can't move forward. rather. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but why people can't move forward, why people stay stuck. Okay, he brought up the word circumstance, and there are two words in that word. Okay, circumstance, okay, we think about circumference, that's the math term or whatever, but that's a circle. Okay, and then you have stance, right? So when you take a stance, you take a stand. Okay, you're standing, right? Circle, stance. Imagine this: there's a circle and you're standing in it. Okay, there's a circle and you're standing in that circle. I'm trying to do my best to give you a picture of a circle and you standing in it. Circumstance, and the reason why you can't move forward is because you're standing in that circle. The circle, and what's surrounding you in that circle: past hurts, all the problems that you have, all the problems that you had, um, the pain that you went through, the shame that you went through. You're standing in it and you can't seem to get past it. And what is it doing? It's hindering you. You are limited to where you can go and how you can move because you're standing in that circle. I dare you to step out of that circle and say, past, I'm leaving you behind. Okay? I'm leaving you behind. You know what? Everybody who hurt me, hurting people hurt people. And for whatever reason, they felt the need to hurt me. Maybe because they were hurting, maybe because that's what they knew, maybe because some people think that. I heard somebody one time say, if you love me, you'll fight me. True story. If you love me, you'll fight me. Why would they think that? That sounds illogical to a lot of people, right? Who know better. But it's because that's what they were taught. The person who hurt them said, I do this because I love you. But that's a lie. So I dare you to step out of that circle that is your circumstance that you are standing in the middle of. Step out of that circle and say, past, I'm not going to allow you to hurt me anymore. I'm not going to allow you to hinder me anymore. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to try my best to forgive. And like I said, that's a process. You might have you might choose to forgive today, and then tomorrow something may come back to you and you get mad all over again because it happens. But you know what? Nope. I've forgiven them. I'm going to keep moving forward. Okay. I pray that this blessed you guys. I hope that I really broke it down right. You know what I'm saying? The best way possible. I really hope so. So anyway, you guys have a great day. And I just pray that the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind. Okay. And that you allow Jesus to fix whatever it is that is hindering you. Okay. That is causing you to stay in that circle of circumstances. Okay. All right. Bless you guys in Jesus' name. Have a good day. Bye.